accident and emergency, you see some strange sights. Freak disasters, baffling symptoms, unlikely injuries. Unshockable staff take them all in their stride.
Oh, that's nice.
Our cameras have spent 5 months in Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital. Their A&E department treated 75,000 cases last year. Most of them your usual kind of casualties. But we were waiting for the unusual cases. The rare and remarkable stories that you don't normally get to see. From extraordinary surgery...
Another life saved, as they say.
And some very patient patients.
Someone bit my ear off.
To the weirdest treatments.
Elite's just a fantastic device, which gets us out of a very difficult situation.
These cases are jaw-dropping, sometimes daft, and always bizarre. Coming up, 'tis the season to be injured. Christmas comes to casualty.
As long as I'm ordering things in threes, it's probably OK, isn't it? That's 3 of us.
Yes.
How to retrieve lost property that's been through a baby.
You really want to know it's there, you can filter the contents of her nappies.
Wonderful.
High heel hell when a woman plunges off her own shoes.
We were just leaving the house, trying to run down in our ridiculously high heels. Hannah tripped over the step and just fell over onto the floor.
A man who's done over by his dinner when he breaks his diet.
How many people are going to see this thinking, you fat...
And a slip with an industrial hammering machine calls for expert medical diagnosis.
What I call a dog's dinner.
Our first patient tonight, Ben, has come to A&E complaining of a troublesome nail. And it's going to need more than a manicure to fix it. And since Ben's clearly used to having things stuck into his finger, he won't mind a little jab to anaesthetise it.
This stuff stings like hell when it goes in. OK, right, this is the stingy bit. It makes your finger feel quite fat as well.
Ben's a builder, and earlier this afternoon he's working with a nail gun. And yes, your guess about what happens next is almost certainly bang on target. Unlike the nail. The 4 centimetres of metal don't just penetrate Ben's finger bone. The nail stabs deep into the wall, leaving Ben in a bit of a fix and in danger of becoming a permanent fixture.
I looked round at my mate, he thought I was paying about, but then he saw it and got a bit queasy. So they had to cut it out with a reciprocating saw, and yeah, otherwise I'd still be there now, attached to the wall. It hurt when he was sawing through it because it's through the bone. It's obviously vibrating the bone, and that made me sweat a little bit. Yeah.
Considering what's just happened to him, Ben seems bizarrely unfazed by proceedings.
All I want to do is go down the pub.
Just your left side against there.
But a trip to X-ray reveals our handyman's hand is in an even worse state of repair than first thought.
We've had a look at your X-rays and it has actually gone through the bone.
Can't you just chop it off at the end?
Sadly not. No, it needs to come out.
Having hoped his finger would be a quick fix, Ben's not thrilled to hear he's got to stick around for an operation.
I might suggest to them that I think they might screw out. Let's save me some time.
But the staff don't want to do a cowboy job. Dr. McNair explains that Ben needs to show a little bit of patience.
Got to get this out because of obviously the function of your finger, and also it's an infection risk because you've got a foreign body which has gone through wood into your hand.
There's no way of doing it any other way, not putting me under.
Yeah.
I'm not keen on being groggy the next day.
You'll have to stay in tonight.
Right.
Anyway, do you smoke at all?
Probably 20 a day.
Smoking affects bone healing. Once we've taken it out, you're going to have a big hole in there, and that is going to take time to heal.
Yeah. If I cut down to 10 a day, it's just...
I can't comment on that.
Ben faces a nail-biting overnight wait for surgery. It looks like he'll have to hold off a little longer for that drink he's craving.
So I've got to go somewhere else now. Which means I won't be able to go down the pub tonight.
The following morning, though, our patient's on the road to recovery.
My finger's feeling a bit numb today, but I can still move it about. I can move it more than I did yesterday when there was a great big nail sticking to it.
To extract the nail, surgeons were forced to cut into the side of the finger in order to get enough purchase to pull the metal out.
They gave you the nail to keep as a memento. You still see blood on the top of it. This is really nice. Tasty.
A programme of physiotherapy should ensure that once the bone has fused back together again, he'll be as good as new. All in all, a lucky escape. Wouldn't you agree, Ben?
I probably have been quite lucky in the sense that it didn't damage me that much, but not lucky in the sense I actually shot myself.
It's a fair point. Time for Ben to leave A&E.
My nice clean T-shirt back on. I've got onion sauce down the front of it from my steak baguette yesterday morning. See you later, mate.
Our handyman probably won't be putting up any shelves for a little while yet, but despite doctor's advice, it seems he does intend to prop up a few bars.
I shouldn't really drink because I'll be on antibiotics, but, you know, a couple never hurts, does it?
And as nail gun injuries go, Ben got off quite lightly. Construction worker Isidro Mejia is building a house in Los Angeles in April 2004. He accidentally falls from the roof. Down to the second story, where he lands on top of a fellow builder who has a nail gun. It shoots repeatedly into Isidro's body. The 5-metre fall to the ground alone could easily have killed them. 3 nails penetrate Isidro's brain. Another is within centimetres of the brain stem. A 5th nail is embedded in his vertebral column, and a 6th pierces his face. But miraculously, all the nails miss the many areas where they could cause paralysis or death. After 5 days of operations, the nails are successfully removed. And Isidro makes a complete recovery. Saturday night is always a big one at A&E. When people get messy, it's often the hospital who have to clean up afterwards. But our next case, Hannah, and her friend Joanna, had barely begun their night on the tiles. In fact, they'd not made it much further than the front door.
We're planning on going clubbing, so much for that, really.
Hannah's fallen and hurt her arm.
Her hand was swollen up to maybe twice the normal size.
Unusually for Saturday night casualty, she hasn't been on the sauce. Much.
Had 2 glasses of wine just before I was then going out, so I'm perfectly sober, which makes things worse.
No, she didn't stumble on the booze. She fell off her shoes.
I've bought a new pair of shoes, which I think are ridiculously too high, so it's probably due to them. We were just leaving the house. The taxi was hassling us on the phone, so we were kind of trying to run down in our ridiculously high heels. Hannah tripped over the step and just fell over onto the floor.
When Hannah tripped, Joanna's first thought was for her friend's welfare.
The first thing I thought was, oh my God, has she ripped her dress, because it's a new dress today.
OK then, her second thought was for her friend's welfare.
But then, obviously, when she was in a lot of pain, I was quite worried because it was quite swollen. I was worried that she'd maybe broken something.
Time for Dr. Turley to check out the damage.
I landed on both of my hands. This one doesn't hurt at all in comparison to this.
I'm gonna have a look.
Yeah. At the moment, I'm just hoping that nothing's broken and she's not in too much pain for the rest of the evening because she's dead set on going out afterwards.
The trouble is, to rule out the risk of this being a hairline fracture of the wrist, the doctor needs to see whether moving it causes pain.
That hurts.
No.
And just to be absolutely sure, he appears to do it again.
Yeah, that's really painful.
He's actually performing 3 subtly different tests to determine if the scaphoid is fractured.
Any pain when I do that?
Yeah, but sorry, but really hurt.
It's good news. There's no sign of a fracture. The young woman who fell off her shoes is simply sent off with a precautionary splint.
In the meanwhile, no punching or kickboxing.
Yeah, no.
All right?
Now she can get back to serious matters.
The plan is for us to now go out and have a few drinks and hopefully drink the pain off. Hopefully I'll get some free drinks from it, so all's not lost.
High heels are a public health menace. Official statistics show that they damaged over 8,500 ladies in a single year. Even if you don't topple over, because heels throw the wearer's centre of gravity forwards, They cause the spine to bend and potentially deform. And they don't mix well with booze, meaning trip-ups are on the up as binge-drinking blights Britain. In 2006, a 17-year-old student who'd guzzled 25 units of alcohol in just 3 hours fell backwards off her bed and onto a brown leather stiletto. It penetrated 2.5 centimetres through her lumbosacral region and into her spinal canal. The heel had to be removed surgically at St Mary's Hospital in London. Because transvestites often wear heels reinforced with steel to bear the greater weight of the male frame, when in 2005 one tranny hurled her footwear at a 23-year-old man, it did a lot of damage. The victim developed speech difficulties and underwent a craniorectomy to remove the stiletto from his skull. It's the time of year when even the A&E team let their hair down a little, and as the medics make merry...
I don't look like an idiot at all, do I really?
The Christmas morning shift passes without incident.
Merry Christmas!
At lunchtime, however, the turkey traumas start to trickle in. First up, a cautionary tale of how you should never open your oven door before you've put your slippers on. Tina's far from bootiful burn came from a roasting tray full of red-hot turkey juice.
I lost my balance as I was putting it in the oven.
As the tray tipped over, she received 2 doses of the fearsome festive fluid.
Didn't take the notice the first time, but obviously the second time, full on. And then that damn stung.
But as the nurses apply a light basting to her foot, one burning question remains. How to punish the monster that did this to Tina?
It's in the oven, cooking. It's not a problem. I'm going to go back and have my dinner about 2 o'clock. Roast potatoes are cooking away. When I go home, I should just dish it all up and we'll sit down at the table. It's normal.
But while most of the nation suffers from nothing worse than indigestion and annoying in-laws, A&E has to deal with a second helping of meal-related mishaps. Waiting for treatment is a man with his hand in a pan. Paul's got a nasty burn on his finger, sustained while taking a dish for his Christmas spread out of the oven. Now, instead of using his cooking utensils to heat things up, he's using them to cool things down.
The first thing people tend to do is plunge their hands in cold water. The worrying thing about that is how long they've been in it, because you can not only get burns from heat, you can get burns from cold. And some people plunge their hands into ice and keep it in there for hours, which is not really the best thing because frostbite doesn't go down too well.
Judging by those blisters, Paul's fingers seem pretty well cooked, but sticking a pin in them to see if the juices run clear doesn't appear to be an option.
There are only 2 times we like to pop blisters and burns now, and that's basically if it's over a joint and it actually stops you moving that joint, then we have to aspirate them. But nature has created a perfect environment for healing, so I'm not going to interfere with that. I don't like to keep it in water for too long.
It seems the nurse isn't interested in keeping the contents of the pan to make a nice gravy, so all that remains is to return it to its owner. And get a medically trained reindeer to dress Paul's wounds. As dressings go, they're not exactly slimline, but our patient can see a positive.
As long as I'm ordering things in 3s, it's probably OK, isn't it? That's 3 of us.
Yes.
As somewhere to spend Christmas, A&E waiting rooms must be up there with mangers as places to avoid. But cooking festive food alone causes 25,000 people a year to spend part of their holidays in hospital. Among them, Graham here, who's cut his hand on a glass while washing up.
First thing I thought was go get a tea towel out of the drawer and just like wrap it around it, try and stop the blood to see if it wasn't as serious as it was. But the blood was coming through the tea towel, so I thought that isn't right.
So you cut it on a piece of glass?
Yeah.
The gash on his knuckle looks nasty, but a few stitches should sort him out.
Sharp scratch.
First, the doctor's got to anaesthetise the area.
Ow.
The trouble is, with injections, as with Christmas presents, it's always better to give than to receive.
People can feel queasy due to either the sight of their own blood or just a fear, normally, of what's actually going to happen.
Okay, I feel like I'm really going to be sick now.
It is more common in men. Men do generally feel more queasy and are more prone to fainting than women.
And before long, poor Graham's Christmas lunch is making a bid for freedom.
It's not uncommon. It's nothing in itself to worry about particularly. Okay.
Yeah.
Our brave patient's ordeal is over. With his wound stitched up, it's time for him to head home. But does he still have to do those dishes?
Well, maybe not doing any, I'm not washing any glasses, but what plates are safe, I reckon, so that'd be fine.
Each year, over the 12 days of Christmas, around 80,000 Brits end up in A&E. Some 1,500 of those injuries are caused by decorations. A further 1,000 caused by Christmas trees. And each year, a few accidents involve people watering their Christmas trees while the fairy lights are plugged in. Statistics are not kept for injuries caused by,
I say,
lords a leaping or putting partridges in pear trees. Kissing under the mistletoe can also be dangerous. Visits to sexual health clinics reach their annual peak in the weeks after the party season, as people come to realise they got something they really didn't want for Christmas. Not everyone likes to tuck into a traditional Christmas dinner with the usual trimmings. Take Willow here. She might only be 1 year old, but she's already turning her nose up at turkey. She prefers to munch on venison.
We had a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on a hairband that Granny bought her that had flashing lights on it and was chewing on it. So I went to take it off her and realised that one of the bulbs was missing.
Santa's little helper once had several very shiny red bulbs on his face. Now, one of them is lighting up a little girl's digestive tract from the inside. Rudolph is expected to make a full recovery, but the medical threat to Willow comes from the menacing metal spike that attaches the bulbs to the toy.
I'm Matt Hayward, one of the A&E doctors.
Hi.
So Willow's got a
We think she's got one of those.
One of them.
Yeah, but because of the sharp ends, the fact they've been just around, I think we've would have left it
to nature.
The questions you have to answer is it stuck in the gullet?
Yes.
Is it still in the chest? Or has she sort of cough choked and breathed it in?
If the rogue reindeer part hasn't yet made its way safely to Willow's stomach, she may have to undergo surgery to remove it.
I'm actually going to get her x-rayed. Things that kids have swallowed, if they hit their stomach, they always come out. Yeah. I've seen up to and including an open safety pin come out of the bottom end. Yeah. I don't think it's in her lungs. No. Really say with bits sticking out like that, there's the chance.
This isn't Willow's first digestive misdemeanour, however. Reindeer meat is a mere canapé compared to some of the stuff she's scoffed down during her first year of life.
She had a very small eye off a robin that she passed through her nappy, and sequins off shoes are her favourite. She will eat anything sparkly.
We had some Christmas decoration come out.
She had stones and gravel she'll pick up handfuls of, and if you take her on the beach, she'll have handfuls of sand in her mouth. I'm hoping it's just a phase she's going to grow out of very soon.
She's not out of it yet, though. Looks like she's planning dinosaur for dinner.
Willow, no.
Given Willow's varied diet, who knows what else the X-rays might find in her stomach?
Have you seen the light? Can you look at that light for me?
A laser beam makes a change from fairy lights at Christmas, and at least Willow can't eat it. She then carries on hunting for tasty objects to gobble up before Dr. Hayward returns with the results of the X-ray.
Willow Howell's chest. There we go. No, there's no metal to be seen in there. So that means it's in the bottom of the stomach or it's down in the gut. And it's going to come out.
It's the happiest Christmas gift a mum and dad could receive. The news that their child isn't going to need surgery. Dr. Matt also lets them know that there's a little present from Willow they can look forward to unwrapping.
You really want to know it's there, you can filter the contents of her nappies.
Wonderful.
Right.
Come on, then we can take you home. Say bye-bye.
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 Bye, Willow. Hopefully you've learned that reindeer can be a pain, dear. Norfolk's full of farmers, which means the hospital sees its fair share of agricultural injuries. And given the sheer size and power of the tools they use, when farmers hurt themselves, they don't tend to do it by halves.
Well, the sensation was of immediate pain and I've done something very silly. I realised it was serious when I saw all the skin peeled off my knuckles. It's entirely my own fault.
John here was using a huge industrial hammering machine to embed wooden fence posts into the ground. But the mechanism slipped, causing 180 kilos, equivalent to 2 large, fully grown men, to crash down on his hand.
It was sitting on top of the post, and as I pushed the post, it slipped down and skinned off.
Slipped down and it caught your hand.
Caught my hand.
Okay.
Squeamish viewers, now's your regular reminder to look away quick. The injury's a very serious example of what's medically known as degloving, meaning the doctor can peel John's hand like a banana.
The unusual aspect of his injury is the fact that the skin has been ripped off and there are fractures underneath. So we've got, if you like, double trouble here, because we've got the soft tissue component, which is quite severe, as well as the possibility of bones that are broken underneath. It's quite apparent to me that the plastic surgeons will need to see you.
Stitch it up.
Well, I think it'd be a bit more complicated than that by the looks of it.
John's skin is in tatters, but his bones could be mangled too, so the doctor calls for an X-ray. And sure enough, the results show his middle and index fingers are badly broken. Put simply, any plans he had to play tiddlywinks over the next few weeks might have to be put on hold.
What I call a dog's dinner.
Believe it or not, though, even dogs' dinners can be fixed by the plastic surgeons. Using drills and pins, they put John's bones back together again. And 3 weeks after the operation, he's back in for a checkup, though it looks like the surgeons have decided to replace his hand with an egg whisk.
This has been put in traction to try and get my fingers working quicker.
Given the extent of John's injury, it's fair to say he feared the worst. But the good news is, he's on the road to recovery.
I'm feeling a lot better. My wound's healing up very well.
Hello. Good morning. How's it going?
One quick pluck, and the pin that was drilled into his finger is pulled out.
Well done, John. Done.
The doctor seems happy with the state of his hand. A long programme of physio lies ahead, but all in all, it's a thumbs up for John's fingers.
OK, thank you. Bye.
There's something very fishy going on in the waiting room. And it's all because of this man.
I'm here today because I was having some fish and chips, though I shouldn't do, and I got a fishbone stuck in my throat.
Yes, Andrew's been done over by his own dinner. Tucking into a tasty bit of cod, he choked on a fishbone. And just a few minutes later, he was seeing his seafood all over again.
As I was being sick, obviously after I brought the food up while I'd eaten, I started bringing up a bit of blood.
You got a fishbone stuck in there?
I think so, yeah.
You think so?
As Andrew undergoes x-rays to see if the bone is still there, it turns out he's hiding a guilty secret.
I shouldn't really be eating fish and chips because I said I was going to start my diet, and I've been pretty rubbish at it. So I was looking at this cod and chips thinking, grudgingly, I shouldn't be eating this because something bad's going to happen, and the next thing I know, all this happened, and here I am.
But his contraband cod could cost him dear, because although fish bones may be tiny, they can cause serious damage when trapped in the throat.
The airway can be obstructed, and obviously if the esophagus is perforated, then obviously we can get infection from bacteria that normally live in the gut.
The problem is, the bones are so small, x-rays often prove inconclusive.
Okay, take care.
Oh, thanks.
So, the staff decide to go on a little fishing expedition of their own.
I really don't know what's happening, but I presume they're going to make me cry when they put something down my throat. A totally bizarre day for me.
Time for the endoscope, a 3-foot tube with a tiny camera on the end that's fed up the nose and down the esophagus. No wonder Andrew's starting to wish he'd gone for a salad instead.
What's going through my head at the moment, I'm thinking, how many people are going to see this thinking, you fat... I told you you shouldn't eat cod and chips, it's bad for you. I should have stuck to my guns and kept to my diet and not had them, but in a way I suppose I haven't had them because I brought most of them up.
It's crunch time for our fish fanatic. If the doctor finds a bone down there, it needs to come out, which might mean a trip to theatre.
A bit anxious about the pipe up my nose.
It won't be painful. If you feel as though you're going to be sick, tell me and I'll stop. We'll start off with it nice and straight. Take a breath.
It's not the most comfortable procedure, so on balance it seems a little unfair for the doctor to start quizzing Andrew on how well he knows his alphabet.
Can you say E for me?
E.
You're doing really well. Excellent. You're doing great.
Having reeled her line back in, the doctor can finally let Andrew know if the bone's still trapped down there.
I can't actually see any bones in there. If there was one there, I think it's actually passed.
Right.
I think it's a scratch, which is why you've had the blood.
He's gonna be fine. 24 hours and his scratched throat should stop feeling sore. But what of the phantom fishbone? Well, it's either been swallowed or vomited back up. Yes, it's another case of the one that got away.
Will I be touching fish and chips again? I'll have fish cake from now on. Save the cod stocks.
I've done a few before, but they've normally been bigger than this.
If there's one thing we've learnt to expect in A&E, it's the unexpected.
Whenever you think you've seen everything that people can do, they come up with something else.
It's comforting to know that whatever you might do to yourself,
That's pretty bad to have a hole in your head. You don't want that. Not good.
no matter how daft your injury,
I actually have seen a fight between two old ladies, which resulted in one getting hit round the head with the other's Zimmer frame.
or how eccentric your emergency,
I had to pluck its testicles, so I think it just got me back.
unflappable NHS doctors and nurses actively enjoy the challenge of picking up the pieces. Or pulling out the pieces, in some cases.
I was thinking about leaving it there for a bit of jewellery.
That's why I love A&E, because you don't know what you're going to get.
That's what we're here for, to save life and limb, really, I suppose.
And it turns out medics have their own slang term for the kinds of cases we've brought you in this series of Bizarre ER. The British Medical Journal in 2007 reported that a particularly peculiar casualty is now sometimes referred to as a Hasselhoff. The term has passed into usage following an accident suffered by the Hoff in the toilet of a luxury London gym in June 2006. The star needed major surgery on his arm after cutting himself while shaving. Somehow, his grooming routine caused him to hit his head on a fancy light shade. It shattered, and the falling glass severed 4 tendons and an artery. Dave's close shave is a warning to us all. Take care out there, or you too might end up a Hasselhoff.